So, Sierra Leone.
11 years of civil war killed at least 50,000 people and forced 500,000 from their homes.
Diamonds, right?
Rebel fighters enslaved locals to dig for so-called blood diamonds.
Natural disasters.
We've just been to the site where the mudslide happened on Monday.
The number of the missing is still unknown.
A crowd of people had gathered near a fuel tanker that had been involved in a collision. A bus full of people nearby was completely burned.
Health crisis.
Go to the deadly Ebola outbreak.
The world is losing the fight against Ebola.
Rape and gender-based violence.
5-year-old Khadija Soko was raped and killed in Sierra Leone in June.
On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I therefore declare rape and sexual violence as national emergency.
What if I told you there is a different Sierra Leone than what the media has led us to believe? This is Sierra Leone.
Good morning. It is day 24 of the 520-mile walk, and so far we have done 353 miles, which is crazy to think that we have walked that far. And this morning we are only heading about 10 to 12 miles right outside of the town that we will be going into tomorrow, because we have a pre-arranged arrival with some of the community members there. This morning we slept into about 6, so we're getting a little bit of a later start, but that's okay because we're only walking a short distance today. Last night I spoke to the manatees, checked in, see how they're doing, how they're enjoying the experience so far, and so far we have had Manny as well as Mr. Whiskas come along and walk for the day. So today we are having the third and final manatee join along, Willow. Willow came to the team just earlier this year. I found her online, someone was selling her, and I was completely blown away that someone would sell a manatee just as cute as her. And originally I thought that Willow was going to be the same size as Manny, but when I got her, she was about half the size and just a beautiful manatee. And so in the short time that she has been a part of the team and a part of my life, she has gone to Iceland with me, and now she is in Sierra Leone. So going from whatever life she had before to now being with me, she is a well-traveled manatee and a key part of this team. So I'm very grateful that she wanted to come along, not only on this trip, but also come out today and walk the 12 miles. So with that being said, we are gonna pack up and head onto the road. So now that we are back on the road, I can explain a little bit about our experience last night in the village that we slept in. Again, I do not remember the name. I asked a few people and I couldn't understand. And when I asked how to spell it, no one knew. But when we arrived to the village, we had a little meeting amongst the men and the women and explained a little bit about who we were and why we were walking. And you know, we asked some very general questions to the community, such as are men in this community and all throughout Sierra Leone doing bad or doing wrong to women. And you know, most communities we go to, they will outwardly agree and say, yes, we do wrong to the women, we don't treat them as well as they could be. And this community was very quick to be like, no, we treat them very well. We asked them, you know, is the issue of rape present in this community? And the chief and a couple of the men by his side were very quick to be like, absolutely not. No one has ever been raped in this community. It is not a thing and never will be. And there was a few more questions that we asked that they just very much shot down very quickly, which to us in the team, although it could be that they are truthful, given the statistics and given that our own personal experience walking around this entire country, not once but now twice, most communities do experience some form of rape, some form of violence against women, and oftentimes a multitude of that. And so for this community to quickly shut it down, and even when we would ask the women questions, you know, before they would even respond, most of the men would turn around and just stare at the women, and you could easily feel the energy and sense the presence that the men held over the women in this community. And we talked about the idea of washing the feet as a public apology, washing away all the wrongs that men have done to women. And many of the women, I believe, were uncomfortable, which is understandable, but the overall presence that was seen from the men towards the women was very much uncomfortable. And ultimately, it was an interesting experience to see that this community for sure has a tight grip on the control of their women and, you know, their freedoms and their ability to, you know, speak up and do those things. We did have a few women who ultimately came forward and clapped for the things we did and said that yes, some of the things that you guys are saying are 100% true. But all of those things that were said were met with a lot of glares and a lot of looks of anger coming from the men towards the women. So again, a very interesting experience in that community last night. And now that we're on the road, you know, I'm grateful that we are moving forward with a 520-mile walk, and being that we sleep in communities 30+ nights out of that, statistically, chances are we are going to run into a community like that every now and then. But nonetheless, they were very nice to us as strangers. They allowed us to cook food, allowed us to sleep outside the chief's house. But I'm glad to be back on the road, heading 12 miles today, and I will check back in later. This is ridiculous. This is easily, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 today that we've had to cross, but I can't figure at this point we're gonna be crossing rivers all day. We finally got bagged water. Oh my goodness. So good. How are you? Good. Oh, Tebow! How are you? Good. Good morning. It is day 25 of the 520-mile walk, and yesterday as we got into town, I stopped filming. We had some logistical things to take care of, and not a whole lot happened. We kind of just hung out in the afternoon. Hindalo had to run a few errands in the next town, and we just went to bed a little early. But this morning we are having the community ceremony here in town, and today we are heading to Kamakwie. And the awesome thing that is happening is we are heading to Kamakwie today, having the community ceremony and meeting with different community stakeholders. But then tomorrow on Friday, the 26th, we are having interviews with AYV, African Youth Voice, which is one of the leading television networks here in the country, as well as that BBC Africa is flying a couple representatives out from Nairobi, Kenya, all the way out here to Sierra Leone to have an interview with us about the walk we are doing. So that is absolutely incredible that we are going to have those experiences and those opportunities to share our story and the project that we are working on, especially ahead of time before we head into Freetown. So hopefully that those stories can air and build some momentum as we continue on our way to Freetown to finish the 520-mile walk. But with that being said, we are going to head up to the Court Berry and have a great community ceremony this morning and then get back on the road. So we just finished with the meeting and it was incredible. There was a lot of good responses from both the men and women in this community, and they expressed their gratitude for us coming here and how open they were to welcoming us in, giving us a place to stay, giving us food. And now we are on our way to plant the tree to signify that there were two men that came into this town walking alongside their team, saying that they, alongside the community, would put an end to rape and that this tree would signify that. So we are finding a spot now to do that, and after that we will continue on our way to the next village.